Alright, so the video we are gonna react to now is the most underrated character in Melee. This was a channel point reward in the stream for us to react to a video, and this particular video was claimed. So let's watch this video about the most underrated character in Melee, and yeah, let's see what I think about it, my own thoughts, yada yada.
Now, throughout Melee's history, Mewtwo is a character that's been underestimated and overlooked. You rarely see him played online or in tournament, which has caused a lack of optimization in comparison to other characters in Melee. Because he's such a unique and unorthodox character, many people just don't understand how to play him. So like,
before we continue, I will say though, it's actually crazy that at one point he was considered the worst character. I mean, I guess you could say that about most characters. It's weird that, oh, like, Zelda and Mario early on was ranked highly. For example, Mewtwo being dead last. I mean, there are many cases. Yeah, Mewtwo was literally considered worst in the game for some time period. I don't remember exactly, but I think like around 06, 07, like around that time era, he was considered worst. Which even at the time I didn't like really understand, but like, yeah, I mean that was what people at the time believed. But yeah, to be fair, like lower end characters in Melee never got too much attention, relatively speaking, so yeah.
I opt for a more common and intuitive character, but personally, I believe he has lots of potential and a plethora of decent options that rarely get talked about, despite being a little janky and weird. For example, it's well known that Mewtwo has really good distance on his recovery, having a top 3 recovery in the game, but he can also do some lesser known techniques too.
Yeah, Mewtwo's recovery is honestly really good. I would say honestly, like especially if you include getting back from the ledge as part of your recovery. I mean, I guess like in a sense, maybe I can see arguments for and against including that, but technically speaking, like a lot of characters, they make it back to the ledge, right? But you still need to get back into neutral. So I think getting back from the ledge is a very important part in your recovery in a sense. And if you include that, I think Mewtwo is like next to Puff, probably second best recovery. I mean, if you don't include the ledge part, that would help Peach quite a lot. Samus also has like a pretty good recovery, but honestly, Mewtwo's recovery is really good, and he's pretty good at the ledge too. But yeah, doesn't really matter exactly where he would be, but yeah, he is, recovery-wise, he is really good for sure.
To extend it, by shooting a fully charged Shadow Ball in the opposite direction, it will push Mewtwo closer to the stage so he can come back on. Or in very specific situations, he can actually fly under the stage and grab the ledge from the other side. Not a game changer, but I still thought it was pretty neat. On top of far distance, his up B also has almost no landing lag, so edgeguarding Mewtwo can be surprisingly difficult if your opponent knows what they're doing. But Mewtwo's landing lag can be reduced even further by using a technique called TLL. Essentially, if you teleport at a certain distance above the ground, when Mewtwo lands he can act almost instantly, and combining this with his up B ledge stall, he has Jigglypuff levels of camping potential. Up B has multiple purposes as well, as it can be used to escape pressure and juggle situations. He's one of the only characters in the game that can reliably escape Marth's endless up air strings, and that's pretty important. And in terms of movement, Mewtwo can weave in and out the opponent's threat range pretty quickly, with an above average wave dash and decent frame data. But a technique that vastly improves his neutral and punish game is double jump canceling. With DJC, he can instantly input an aerial despite barely leaving the ground. This completely eliminates the time it takes for him to fall back down and makes his attacks linked together significantly better. Another decent albeit situational technique is using side B to counter approaches. You may already know that Mewtwo can use his side B to drag his opponent through the stage, leading to some early cheesy kills.
Yeah, that's very cheesy and would, like, as soon as you know about that, you should never really challenge it. But Mewtwo, yeah, he does have some pretty solid tools. Like, yeah, his combo game, double jump cancel, obviously really good. Recovery, as mentioned, very good. Good range on quite a few moves too. Kill throw, good edge guards. But sadly, this character, and this might be mentioned in the video, I just don't want to watch the whole thing and then give comments, because then I probably forget about things as well. But yeah, the character is like so massive. So he's like, it's easy to hit him in many scenarios, and he dies so early. But I do overall agree that the character is very underrated and could see more success given the right players. But I mean, I think honestly that's true for a lot of characters in Melee, with the exception of like the very, very worst characters, like the trash characters, like Bowser, Kirby, Zelda. In before someone, oh, but Plop beat you with Zelda, ha ha ha. I mean, to be fair, I did get hit by that one fair or backer or whatever. But yeah, with the exception of like pretty much these three characters, I do think even like a lot of the other trash characters are quite a lot better than people give them credit for. And I also think it's partly due to like Melee's design as well. It's a game where you can like outplay people at so many levels, and the game is like so deep that even bad characters I think could do a lot better if people play them. But most people don't find them as fun. Probably they don't get inspired as much because people don't play them. You often have people like, if they get, you know, into the scene, they see some YouTube video, they find like some tournament stream, and they're like, oh, I like this player. This player's playing sick, and he's playing, let's say, Falcon. And then they're like, oh, like, let's check up good Falcon players. But who would you check up for a lot of these weird, bad characters? In many cases, there are not really any like super notable. They might be the best with the character, like the best person maining the character, but if you mean like on the global scale, they might not make it super far in tournaments. But yeah, I think a lot of characters in Melee, they're not quite as bad as people say.
But you can also use it to cover landings, as it has a deceptively large hitbox and stretches further than it appears. While it's not the safest move, you can still throw off your opponent if they're not expecting it. But his side B isn't the only move with a considerable range. His down tilt is also a relatively safe and fast option that covers a lot of distance. Because of his quick end lag, it's a good combo starter and could even be guaranteed as a follow-up out of down throw at certain percents. And when Mewtwo starts a combo, he can often 0 to death fast fallers due to his pop-up fair and grab combos. But if you still manage to survive, he has a pretty good edge guarding game with a huge tail hitbox on his back air. You can go way below the stage to gimp your opponent and still make it back. The final technique I'll be discussing today is down B kill confirms. If timed correctly, Mewtwo can use his stun move to lock the opponent into place and then grab them before they can successfully mash out. And if you're playing against a lighter character like Marth or Peach, you can up throw to finish them off at around 100%. While yes, this is a very niche option, I still think it's underused and could be helpful under certain circumstances. One day, a Mewtwo player will come along and prove that the character is better than everybody thinks. It could be Leffen, Mewtwo King, Taj, or someone completely new. Who knows? All I know is that that's all for today. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, I mean, we already have seen, you know, some stuff with Mewtwo. I mean, primarily from Tosh and Leffen when he had his time period of playing a little bit more Mewtwo. And also that Japanese player, what was his tag now again? Zuma or something like that? Also really good. So I mean, we have seen some stuff from Mewtwo, and we probably will at other times in the future too, but... But yeah, overall I can say, like, I mean, I agree with the video that Mewtwo is underrated. He does have some strong tools. He didn't really talk, from what I remember, about the weaknesses of the character that people like often highlight, but yeah, Mewtwo does have some strengths, and who knows, maybe a year or two from now that people will look at him in an even, you know, brighter way, that maybe even the people that believe in Mewtwo now don't believe in him as much as, you know, what will be standard 2 years from now. We don't know. I'm not sure if I think he's the most underrated. I'm not sure about that, but he's underrated at least. Like a few years ago, I would agree that he was the most underrated. But right now, I'm not sure if I can say the most underrated, because he has gotten like much more attention in the past, like, I don't know, 3-4 years. But before that time period, actually maybe even further back. I mean, Tosh already as early as like 10 years ago ish was like making waves with Mewtwo. I mean, I know he primarily played Marth at Genesis 2, but he did play some Mewtwo as well. And Tosh got like third that journey. But yeah, Mewtwo's cool. So, I mean, if you like the character, feel free to test him out.